seem so scared. All I wanted to do was play with you. I am right behind you.
Good evening. There we go. Good evening, Australia. Good morning, UK. I'm just getting everything set up. There we go. So I'll just find the post. But this is once again one of those surprise live. There we go. I'll just get your comments so I can see your comments. So I am streaming obviously through Facebook mainly and YouTube via the Spirit Crew page and the Cornishmedium page. Good morning, evening, David. Hi, Rochelle. Yeah, so after Angela's live she did the other day, bigging me up, I thought I'd better come on. So we're waiting for everybody to come on because everybody's like, what's he going to do tonight? What's he going to do? Hello, Ashley and David. So as I said, I know Angela and all's listening and watching in the background. And this is one of those type of evenings. It's Thursday. We're just going to chill and chat. So if everybody's expecting a mediumship, we'll be doing that on Sunday. I believe Father's Day we're going to do a special there. So yeah, so after obviously Angela's live saying obviously what we're all doing, and it is true. We are working on the website, and eventually we'll be directing everything towards that. And it will have, as Angela said, all the up-and-coming shows, all the back catalogue, because as you know, you can link up your WordPress to YouTube quite easily. So that's what we'll be doing. But tonight, hello Trace. Obviously, there's a couple of feeds that are slow. Do not worry about that. Right. I've been offline for a couple of months, as I said before. So just reintroducing myself again. I'm a 50-year-old crazy man from the UK, and been dabbling. I won't say dabbling, but been in tuned since I was like really young. So you know, this to me is natural, and I get frustrated when. Hello, Colleen. Hello, Steve. I get frustrated when I see it's not natural to other people, and I'm like, no. So what we're going to do, or well, you know, as Angela knows, my mind is full of weird and wonderful stuff, and my thing on this life is getting you listeners, you watchers, you investigators, to the other side. So eventually, when we all go to the other side, we don't come back as ghosts. We don't come back as stuck entities. Okay, because that's what you investigate. You investigate loved ones or spirits that are attached to buildings. You know, that most of the time just come back and have a look. You know, because they know that you're there investigating. So the spirit world looks upon you as a group of investigators and think, well, we'll come down and have a laugh. So what me and Angela, or what myself, try to do is give you the background information, the background knowledge. So at the end of the day, you know, interact. You know more about the spirit world. You ain't going to investigate nothing. I'm sorry to tell you, but that's fact. With this, as I said, for the last 40 years professionally. So this is a midweek type of stream that will be giving you little insights of life to better your life, to better your families and friends. And then by doing that, things will work for you. So when you go into the investigations, you understand the spirit world, you understand why they're coming forward. Because they come forward for a reason. They never come through to say hello. well, unless they're the playful spirits that are waiting to go into their womb. They're the playful ones because they're the baby spirits and entities. So, a little tip: if you have a playful spirit, check if there's a pregnant lady next door or in the crescent, because if there is a pregnant person, then that entity, that soul, will belong to the pregnant lady, and the soul is just having a laugh before it goes into the womb and becomes a person. So once again, nothing evil, nothing devil, but I love doing that. Sorry about that. It may offend people because they may have a really strong belief in the devil, but hopefully if you have, you won't be watching this. You will be watching Alex Jones perhaps and his conspiracy stuff from the States. But anyway, enough rabbiting on. We got a few we got a few on at school. Sorry about that. That's just my dog. Hermes, obviously my cat, died. Now I've got a dog that barks. Anyway, crazy. So what we're going to do this morning for the next half an hour, and hopefully I will be watching your comments, and hopefully you'll have questions. And that's about the Celestine Prophecy. I don't know if you've read the book or if you've heard about it, but it's a paperback. It's a fictional book. Wrote probably about 40 years ago now. I read it when I was 20, and it made total sense to me. And I only read it in 2 days because I was like, yeah, I know that. So it's now putting on my twist. So you don't have to read the book, but you can understand how the world, the universe works. So I'm not going to read you the entire book, but obviously we got clips. we got bits of the book. And what it is a gentleman, an author, as I said, 50 whatever years ago, took different ideas of different religions that made sense to him, and he put it all in an adventure book. And if obviously you read the book, it all makes sense. But you know what I'm like, girls and boys, I'll make sense eventually. So bear with me. Because what the book is broken into is 9 insights. And when we talk about insights, it's just ideas. Ideas of life, ideas of how the universe works. And then if you know how the universe works, you can link into, millions of years of history. And once again, you become a better person for knowing it all. So if I'm boring you, do not worry. You're not in the right mind space for this. I won't be offended, because you'll only come back in 6 months' time and listen to it when you're ready to. Because it happens in all of our lives, and the first insight, and we've all experienced, is synchronicity. And once again, I'm not going to go through the whole 9 today, because we're just going to start on the first. And as you'll find out during the next weeks, during the next months, they all link into each other. Of course they do. But hiya, Abby. But it's once again synchronicity. And everybody's going, yeah, synchronicity, Dez. What's all that about? But the book talks about noticing. And the thing is, when we start to notice things, things change. So synchronicity is an entry point, the measure of whether we are connected spiritually. These meaningful coincidences are tiny miracles steering us towards the good life. They are always seeking first to awaken us, and then allowing us to be guided by spiritual connection to the unfolding of our intended destiny. Staying in the state of alert exception concerning the major questions of our lives, or the help we need. But the secret is remembering, and first thing in the morning, to watch out for these magical moments. So what we've done is we've been online, and I'm going to read bits of obviously the author's book. So it's all taken from the celestingvision.com. Okay. Simply, I try to say this stuff, and I have for the last 30 years, but nobody seems to understand me. So I'm like, okay, if I read what somebody else has wrote, perhaps it will resonate, or you'll understand it easier. Hi, Alana. So that's why I'm looking at the screen, and everybody's like, Des is reading it, and I am. Okay, because once again, the importance is just to get this information out there, so we all understand. And once again, see, you'll find for the next half an hour I'll be going, but synchronicity. We've all had it in our lives. Have we all noticed it? That's the problem, or that is the issue, is noticing these little things that happen in our lives to make it better. Because I don't think anything happens by coincidence. Nobody is here by accident. Everybody who crosses our paths has a message for us. Otherwise, they would have taken another path. They would have left earlier or later. The fact that these people are here means that they're in our lives for some reason. You've heard that before, many, many times, many, many, many times. If you haven't, I'm so sad for you. If you're hearing this now for the first time, but you've harped me on that I always go, we're always in the right place, always for the right time. So when somebody passes over, when somebody dies, once again, they're always in the right place at the right time. Somebody gets, you may have family, you may have friends that get obviously taken in car accidents or heart attacks, those surprise passings. And we always go through life blaming the other driver, blaming somebody. But no, that person was in the right accident for the right time. And it's hard for the family that are left, obviously. I'm not taking the grief away. And that's part of my job, is to explain to the family that, unfortunately, they were supposed to be doing what they're doing. But have you ever experienced a coincidence that you could not explain? Have you ever had a hunch or intuition concerning something you wanted to do? Of course you wanted to take in your life and wondered how this might happen. And then, as we all do, we half forget about it, focusing on other things in the day. And then suddenly you meet somebody or read something or went somewhere that led to that very opportunity that you've envisioned. These coincidences are happening more and more frequently. And when they do, they strike us as beyond what we would expect by chance. They feel destined. As our lives have been guided through some unexplained force, the experience introduces a feeling of mystery and excitement, and a result that we feel more alive. You can get in touch with this most exciting part of life, that is, watching the mysterious coincidences happen that lead us towards a particular destiny, and believing in our lives that we are going somewhere that will help to make the world a better place. The first insight occurs when we become conscious of the coincidences that we are meant to fulfill our potential and purpose. So hopefully everybody's got a cup of tea or coffee and is sitting comfortably. And that's what I always tell people. If you are interested in the paranormal, if you are interested in a different way of life, a different thinking, and this is what these books and these ideas are all about is a different way of thinking. And you watching this, you being attached to the Spirit Crew, Australia's teams, tells me that you think differently. So now we're just going to open you up even farther so you can become a better person knowing all of this. And then you can put it into your investigations, because once again the spirits, the entities that have gone before you, they've been human once upon a time. So you are so connected to the people or the loved ones that you investigate. It's so scary. But without the understanding, without, as everybody will understand in the group, the higher vibration, without you vibrating higher and experience and understanding more, you're never going to have that link. You're never going to have that crossover. But please, keep two. Are two people together who act in sync soulmates? But that's a different thing, because if it was soulmates are different. In my view, yes, if you're talking a member of the soul group, I'm with you, because members of the soul group, we will meet on this side of life to help each other out. But once again, we've always been there when, we've been looking for a house to rent, we've been looking for a car, we've been looking for a course, and then suddenly on the TV or in the local paper, in a local shop, you'll see an ad. But then there's no point seeing the ad if you don't act on it. And this is what the first insight is all about, is that becoming conscious of the coincidences. And I love that saying. Hard to say with a stammer, but I do well. But it's becoming conscious and aware of these coincidences. Then you have a choice. Because once again, on this we always have a choice. You can either go with the coincidence and see where it leads, or you can just put it down to, good luck, and dismiss it. That's totally up to you. But it's not until we go with the coincidences. And once again, you can look back in your lives and you'll find, and after this program, you'll look back and go, right, bloody hell, that's why Joe came into my life, because he helped me get there. And then somebody else will come into your life to help you get to the next step. But then, Cheryl, I've manifested. There we are. I manifested too much and asked for something to happen as well. And I manifested so much. See, manifested. I love that word, but I hate it. I mean, it is a bit of a trigger word for me. Manifest, because once again, you've got to be careful what you manifest. Anyway, and manifestation is different, because then you put will into it. The insights talk about allowing. It's the flow of life. So it's just the becoming aware. Because with manifestations, you've got to put, effort, you've got to put energy into it. The first insight is saying, no, you don't need to do that. If it's meant to happen, it will. You just got to be aware of it happening. Because once again, how does it happen? What am I talking about, Des? The transformation is the beginning of the first insight. And this insight always surfaces unconsciously at first, as a profound sense of restlessness. And once again, everybody that I'm talking to this morning and rabbiting on, we're all in that same state of restlessness. Because we understand that there's something else, there's another dimension, another world. That's why you investigate it. That's why you try to get proof. Because of the restlessness. Because you understand. Your understanding is getting greater. And most of society's recent ills can be traced to this restlessness and searching. But the problem is temporary and will come to an end because we're finally becoming conscious of what we're actually looking for. And what this other, more fulfilling experience really is. We are looking for more completion in our lives. And during this search, we won't put up with anything that seems to bring us down. We begin to glimpse an alternative kind of experience, which that's why we go investigating. The moments in our lives that feel different somehow, more intense and inspiring. We don't always know what this experience is or how it's going to last. But when it ends, we're left feeling dissatisfied and restless with life that seems ordinary again. And this is why, I assume, and this is why I went, on investigation nights and stuff, is to get that buzz. Because you know that there's something out there. And when you get a voice coming back on your phone, or if you get the lights going out, or if you get a door slammed, or if you're like Angela and the team, you get scratched. You touched that experience. You know what intense feeling it is to be close. And we've got to have that every day in our lives. So once again, you don't need to go investigating to get it, because it's in everyday lives. We just got to be aware of it. Yeah, project, create, you see. I'll get onto that in a minute. Remind me later, Lana, because once again, yes, you do create, and you do, once you project, you do create. But once again, that's down the line. This is today, just getting us set up and aware that we're living in not a physical world, but a spiritual one. And our chance coincidences, are they meant to happen? See, meaningful coincidences are tiny miracles steering us towards the good life and showing us that there is another side to life that we've yet to discover. And some other process operating behind the scenes. They are always seeking first to awaken us, then to allow us to be guided by a spiritual connection. Somebody may say guides and stuff, but obviously we're reading this bit, so we'll sit with spiritual connection. It's happy for everybody. But such events, when they happen to us personally, they give us a sense of unfolding purpose. What's more, we are understanding now that it's the flow of destiny that is always here, whether we experience for the first time or rediscover it after being stuck back in the bane of life, everyday struggle for time. Age has no relevance here. The key is to grab hold of the awareness and not let go. When you have a defined sense of what most inspires you, and it's always waiting to open up your life. And that's what I always say to people. It's finding out what inspires you. What you're meant to be on this side of life for. And if it's investigating, the paranormal inspires you, brilliant. Because that just tells me, the world, the universe is doing something to awaken you. Because as we all know, it's all done in the background, and I love when they talk about how it starts unconsciously first. Because we don't mentally know that these things are happening, but we spiritually, energetically know that these things are happening. And learning to notice the synchronicity. We've been disregarding miraculous or chance happenings as nothing to seriously consider, or as anything could be removed that of its intended purpose or provide a sense of direction. The first insight occurs when we become conscious, once again, of the coincidences in our lives and the understanding their meaning. Such synchronicity is easy to see in retrospect, as we look back at the fateful twists of our past, the family experiences that shaped us, the people who influence our early interests and educational choices, the forks in the road that lead us to where we are today. Much harder it is to keep the awareness fully operative in the present. Whom will we meet today? What information might they arrive with the shape of our life direction? So now, after the show, we can all sit back, before you all go to bed tonight, and just think about the synchronicities you've had in your lives. You know, the family experience. You know, I'll tell you mine. And that's it, you know, as people that don't know me, I mean, I was growing up in a very religious family. My grandfather was a preacher, my dad was a preacher, my brother's a reverend. So I knew I was going to be a preacher because of my family experiences. I chose to be in that family. I chose to have that religious, spiritual upbringing. Because if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be here now today, doing what we're doing. And we can all think about that and go, okay, what have our families taught us? Why did I pick that family? And then once again, influences at early interests and educate. I remember my headmaster or mistress at primary school taking me to one side, and she's like, "What do you want to do when you're older, Des?" You know, like everybody did. And she just looked at me and she goes, "No, you're a philosopher." And this was about age 16. She's like, "No, you're the philosopher." And I nodded, because I already knew. And I was like, yeah. But without her in my life, telling me that at that young age, would my path be different? I would say yes. So there is see, now we're playing with English. Is there a difference between coincidence and synchronicity? Yes. We will find out in a minute the actual difference. Because I did ask that same question, Abby, and it's quite interesting how it is different. Because, thank you, I should pay Abby later, because that swiftly moves me on to how we utilize synchronicity. All spiritual meanings is found beyond ourselves and draws us to have a better relationship with each other and the planet. We must come back to a place of unity and harmony if we are to continue to thrive in this world and expand our knowledge and our self-realization. To this end, the divine is speaking to everybody everywhere in very different forms. So to answer Abby's question, synchronicity usually operates in a sequence. First, you identify the intuitive thought or hunch that suggests a course of action that you will move your life forward. But don't be too introspective here. Just be aware of the thoughts that come in and seem necessary to pursue. So once again, it's just saying, that we all have these thoughts. We all have these hunches. We all have these, intuitive thoughts about wanting to do something this way. We're all here. We all want to, investigate the paranormal. That's an intuitive thought. That's a hunch. Because we all want to get the picture. We all believe that there is another plane of life. But once again, you have to do something. You can't just sit on your backside and not go out and investigate. Because once again, second, you follow the intuition and take this course of action. So yeah. So you'd have this hunch, then you would physically go out. And that's where the synchronicity occurs. So the coincidences will get us to the meeting place. And then this synchronicity occurs when you have that meeting. And then in turn, giving you just the information and clarity that you need for that moment. The universe is designed to help you, but you have to pay attention. Decide which issue is most present for you each morning, and find yourself guided to profound answers and to resolving your challenges. So that's a bit of a twist, a bit of a mind bender, but the universe is here to help us. We're all part of it, but it's just knowing the rules that it works by. Because then, if we know the rules that the universe works by, we can interact with it more, easier. And then, if we can interact with the universe easier, we can interact with different dimensions and different planes easier. And this is what we're all here to do, is to make your investigations easier, so you get more from it, and you have that excitement, you have that feeling of awareness. And this is what we got to keep every day of your life. So when you go investigating, you're aware of your surroundings, you're aware of people. You also got to be aware when you go to work, because you never know who's going to come in with that little gem, once again, to make your day complete, to answer one of your questions, or to help you with your next project. And the book also goes on about a critical mass, because what we forget is that I know we're 20 years in now of 2000, but the year 2000 was once again a penultimate year. Did I say that right? Because once again, that's the end of 1,000 years of history. We're talking 1,000 years. We're 21 years in, starting another 1,000 years of history, up to 3,000 years. So all of us that are watching this morning, this evening, we are here at a penultimate point of not, once again, the world's history, but the history of the universe. I don't work on, the history of where I'm living, the history of the house. We're talking the universe here. And we're talking another 1,000 years, because this universe is going to be around in another 1,000 years, another 1,000,000 years. We won't be in this form, of course. We'll be coming back and forth as different people, as you know, reincarnation. But it's a new spiritual awakening is occurring in human nature, and it has been for the last, number of years. We got the Age of Aquarius, Piscean, New Age. So new way of thinking has been on the cards for a long, long time. And it may be now, year 2000, with the pandemic, with what's going on in the world. Perhaps, once again, everybody talks about a big reset. I'm not saying this is it, but I'm just throwing it out there. It just may be. Cool. So Sherry, my ancestor is Reverend Henry Francis. Wow. So once again, Sherry, look and see where that links in, type of thing. I'm not expecting you to come on with a little cloth and a little tie, but you never know. Hopefully, he would have given you the spiritual understanding and awareness. Again, it's all to do with awareness. And I go on to Pete, and I go on to Angela. Everybody that goes into a house, a building, is the awareness. Because once you become aware of entities, spirits, loved ones, doesn't matter. That's the key bit. So you can go into a room and hand on heart say, I know that there's a spirit standing in that doorway. Why? Because you're aware of it. And this is what, as a group, as the spirit crew, we're trying to get you to a point where you don't need gadgets. Where you can go into a house and tell that person exactly where that spirit is standing, exactly why that spirit is there, exactly why it's attached, and exactly how you can help the spirit. And once again, this is just the first part, of a lifetime of learning. But in the book, it demonstrates that once we've reached a critical mass, the entire culture will begin to take these coincidental experiences seriously. We will wonder in mass what mysterious processes underlie human life on this planet. And it will be this question, asked at the same time by enough people, that will allow the other insights to come into consciousness. When a significant number of individuals seriously question what is going on, we will begin to find out, and the other insights will be revealed one after another. I believe the world transformation is taking place now. The book was wrote about 40 years ago. Because of the number of individuals living in mindfulness of such coincidences is growing dramatically. We begin to make more meaningful choices that are in line with which we wish that what we wish to create, which adds to the lady a minute ago talking about creating what you think you create. But nothing is left to chance. There is no surprises. Yet for each one is a journey of discovery, whether it be the universe or about yourself. We all these self-help books, always go, road to discovery. You've got to discover yourself. But unfortunately, you do, because you have to discover what phenomenal spiritual beings you are. And once you understand that you're a phenomenal spiritual being that can operate in a time of no time or no space, and once that's blown your mind and you put your mind back together again, then you can work. Each learning adds to our understanding of the more authentic and deliberate design reality, and how we should as a coincidence, no consequence, that's consequence not coincidence, life, our lives up, sorry, let's start that again, how we should be, I don't know, I'll forget that bit, see, too long words, too many, I've only had 2 cups of coffee. But it's just once again saying that understanding that everything is deliberately designed. And this is what, I hate to tell it, ladies and gents, if you do want to be a medium, if you do want to be clairvoyant, nothing surprises you, because you already know it's going to happen. So, you know it's going to happen. So when I met Angela, when I knew that was going to happen, that's why I brought the computers, that's why I brought the software. I was told I was going to get into a team and help them. Coincidence, yes. The coincidence with somebody that was a party of the group, which no longer is, got myself and Angela together, and then the synchronicity happened. Because we clicked, we knew that we was in the right time, the right space to help each other, to make each other better people. and then we allowed the synchronicity and the awareness to start happening. And then the next step, because everybody is right, we've known about that coincidence, it says we want to know about the next step, which will come later. Do not worry about that. But remember, we must retain the insights moving us into this higher experience in the first place, and frequently go back through them to stay confident that this awareness works. This is the only way humanity can slowly lift out the darkness that we have been still suffering. And then it just explains that basically all the insights emerge from many teachings from all the major religions. They point to the way back from the rules of organized religion to pure, uncomplicated relationships with the intensely personal origin of all life, love and truth. We'll no longer be living for self but for others. We understand the importance of one another in a new perspective. We are led to enhance life experiences for one and all. It astonishes the mind even to consider another dimension where time and space does not exist. But it's from this realm that each of us will have the understanding necessary to find our purpose in this life. We immediately want to know more about the process and more about the mysterious coincidences we are talking about. And of course that immediately leads us to the second insight. But we won't do that today, because that's another one. I got like 9 or 12 shows to go. I'm not going to spoil it for you, ladies and gents. But Carrie's just quickly saying it used to be illegal to be a clairvoyant and do readings in 50 years ago. Yeah, Carrie, I do. I'm a great believer, because obviously we still the Witchcraft Act, obviously, yeah, in the 1950s, 1960s did get changed, but we still do have that act. And this is it. If you do pick up the book and read it, it talks about as the last type of paragraphs, because once again, if you think about the Dark Ages to now, because obviously the Romans left, I think is it 60 odd AD. I think it's 66, 67 AD here in the UK. And then there was a big void. So the church took over, as we all know. And the church was the main, and it still is, one of the main powers that are in operation, that is running the world. But we're now trying to change that, and as the sentence said, it's into a pure, uncomplicated relationship with love, life, and truth, and we'll be no longer living for ourselves, but for others. All religions talks about that. We've known that since the beginning of bloody time. But unfortunately, over the last couple of thousand years, well, ever since there was a pyramid, ever since there was a king, ever since there was an emperor. So we are going back to the beginning of time in human history, where there's always been a ruler, there's always been a power to rule all. We've all watched the Lord of the Rings. Is it the ring? Isn't it? We're all but one ring to rule all. And that's what's been their last how many years been hammered in. But if you pick any religion, Western, Eastern philosophies, doesn't matter. You know, their underlying truth, you know, once again, is to help each other. Because as the book, you know, as we go on with the book, as we go on with the insights, you know, it will subtly unfold. And, you know, people will be hopefully working, hopefully on the 8th or 9th insight already. And hopefully you're listening to me and watching me this morning, evening, going, Des, we all know that. You haven't taught us anything new. Brilliant. If I haven't taught you anything new, you're on my page. You know, and if I have taught you, taught, I hate that word, taught. But if I've given you a different way of thinking, once again, brilliant again. Brilliant again. But I'm hoping you're on my page and going, yeah, Des, coincidences, yeah. You know, Joe Bloggs came into my shop the other day, gave me a £5, spent that on the lottery ticket, and won 20 quid. Or $40, whatever, you know. Brilliant. You're looking out for those coincidences, but when they happen, just send a thought back to the universe and thank them. But my father, the police turned up. I couldn't charge him because he used to concentrate on the past, not the future. Okay, Lana Cat. My father never changed. The police turned up, but he couldn't charge him because he used to concentrate on the past and not the future. But once again, within the book, we will talk about living in the past and control issues that still control our lives now. And I think that's the insight that most of us are on. I think that's the 5th or 6th insight. How do you know it's coincidence or fate? Coincidences or fate? Fate is the same. Well, I wouldn't say the same, because if you looked in the English language, you know, they go, oh, it's different. Okay, but how do you know it's? Because okay, fate. To me, it would be one of the same. Okay, because once again, it's the terminology that we use, and I get wound up about how people in my industry, place of work, take words and totally change them from what they want it to be. I'm like, for Christ's fucking sake. So when you ask me that, and honestly, I would say that there's, you know, because we always say it's like, God, that was fate. If I don't know why Joe is coming in today. I've never used Joe as a name before, so obviously there's somebody in the world of spirit called Joe that wants to come through. But to me, it's the same, because you would go, God, fate was looking after us there. Joe came and he had a bloody spare tire in his car to get us home. Some people may go, God, that was a coincidence that Joe came with his spare bloody tire. So once again, it just all depends how you use that word in a sentence. In my frame of reference, you may get somebody else that shoots me down and goes no. But once again, we can use we can use like 5 words for one thing. The English, you all know, the English language is bloody right cock up, isn't it? We all talk it, none of us understand it. Oh dear me. But once again, I do feel it would be the same. So we are coming up to the hour in a minute, which is good. I will be knocking on the head then, because you've got a life to get back to. You've got coincidences and to find out about. But please, the next time, or even add some comments afterwards tomorrow, you know, on the page perhaps, when you think about these coincidences. And somebody's talking about soulmates. Thank you guys. They just reminded me where a soulmate, it gives you that awareness. So when somebody comes into your life, once again, to me, a soulmate is that person that comes into your life, and one you know them because you've been in the world of spirit before, you know. 2, they're interested in you and your ideas, and they're along the same plane, you know. They've got the same ideas. But the more important thing with that is having the awareness of knowing that they're a bit different. Okay, because once again, we all think it when we've got a group of 5 people that we've known for ages. We've got that. We know the energy, we know the feeling, and one other person comes into it, and you're like, they feel different. Your connection to them may be stronger than the rest of the group, and that's where the soulmate, the connection comes into it. So, everybody goes through life for their soulmate. If you have a relationship with your soulmate, brilliant. But if you're one of these people that unfortunately your soul group will just come in and help you with your life, and you may not, it may not be your life to have a relationship with a soulmate, not a problem. Do not worry. The next time you come down, you will meet that soulmate. You will have that relationship with that person. But when we're speaking to you here, when we're speaking to you in the here and now, it's this life. It's this life. But I do have people come, oh, I haven't met my soulmate. Who cares? Who cares if you haven't met that person? At the end of the day, you're still alive. You've still got money in your pocket. Not for any time coming. You won't have any money in your pocket, but still, that's between that's not universal. That's the government. So I'm now freaking out because my dog, I don't know if you can hear, has just come and jumped on the bed and shook himself and then gone down. Anyway, thank you, Lilybell. So I will try to get online next week to do the second insight, because I would like to keep up. Obviously, if you think this was total shite, I don't care. So I'm not being up my own arse, but once again, just put it in the comments, and then you go, Dez, mate, it didn't work. Go back to bed, and I will. I don't mind, but if you want to hear about the second insight, please put it up and we will do it, and then once again, if anybody's got any comments and stuff, we will try to work with them, because at the end of the day, we keep saying, but if you are going out investigating, we want you to be safe. We want you to know we want you to understand how to interact. We want you to know how the other side works, because once again, if you don't know how the universe works, we're not going to get far in life and with our investigations. So once again, when we go on, but just once again, remember that hopefully the people that are watching here today and following the show, following the group, the Spirit Crew, hopefully we are at that stage where we want that higher experience. We want to touch spirit. We want to interact with entities, and hopefully you will, because as you all know, and hopefully know, if you change, everything changes around you. That's the old thing. But I am in that understanding. So as we go on, as I said, the week to come, just look for the coincidences in the past and in your life right now. And then if you have those hunches, those destiny things, that I want to open a bakery, I want to do this, I feel that I need to do that, watch out, because the universe will help you. The universe will put people into your lives to help you, but it's up to you to accept their help. Because once again, we're living in a world, and have been for a long time, where if somebody wants to help you, we freak the hell out. Because we look at them in the face and go, what is it in it for you? Why do you want to help me for? What's going on here, mate? You're making me bloody uneasy now. Where we're trying to get everybody to a stage of helping and not expecting anything to come back. Because I know if I help somebody like Angela, if I help you, I help the groups, I know it's going to come back in tenfold, because I know somebody will put obviously up about one of the universal laws, about giving out and receiving. But it's true. That's the scary thing. All these things that we was taught about when we was kids, and now we're looking about it again with an adult head. And you're like, all these old bloody sayings that parents used to say, they are coming true again. So as a group, if we can move forward and awaken each other up, then, the Spirit Crew, the Cornishmedium, Angela, Pete and the team, we'll be doing what we've been put on this planet for. And as I said, my main purpose is to get you to the end. And so once you get to the end, you never come back again. And you never become one of these people that people investigate. Because we don't want that. We want you to go on to your other life and fulfill it. So until Sunday, we will be doing a Father's Day special, a mediumship night, simply because I learnt it's Father's Day, obviously in Australia, so we will be doing a live. I will have lots of tea, so we'll hopefully be doing a couple of hours. Fingers crossed, I will put up a thought saying fathers only. So if unfortunately, like myself, your father is in the world of spirit, and you are interested that he may come through, etc., please tune in. Once again, it will be around the 8:30 Central, around the same time, because that fits better with us all. But please tune in. Please tell your friends. And once again, if anybody is interested in joining one of our ever expanding groups around Australia, because I did hear, and Angela's now looking to go into New Zealand as well. Phenomenal, brilliant if we can do that. And not once again because we want the biggest group, not because we want the most followers and all that bullshit. It's the more groups, the more people that we can help. The more people we can help, the more spirits we can help. The more spirits we can help, the more awareness that we gain. And once again, it's as simple as life isn't difficult. We just make it difficult. But we'll explain later on why we make it difficult. So have a lovely evening. Thank you for sitting through this hour. Hopefully it's meant, and hopefully you understand a bit. It's made you more aware. If not, it wasn't for you. But I do promise you, in 6 months' time, you'll be watching it. See you Sunday night. Bye for now. There we go. See, just for you, I will play that to go out with.
Why do you seem so scared? All I wanted to do was play with you.